Well, here we are. Pluto is now direct in Capricorn and Jupiter's now retrograde in Gemini. What does that mean, Basil? Well, this is it. No more retrogrades of Pluto and Capricorn for the rest of our lives. 250 years is how long it's going to take to come back. So these are the final lessons. This is the final integration period. Don't fuck this up. How do you not fuck this up? Number one, forms of escapism, right? Addiction, alcoholism, drug abuse, suppression of your emotions. Everyone needs to be on their A game with their healing right now. Forgiveness work, big time. Dealing with stuff from the past, especially tragedies, challenges, hardships. We got to break the shackles off to make sure that we're ready for this next 20 years of Pluto and Aquarius that's coming. If you want to go into your future and be powerful, it's like deal with the history of the past, feelings, challenges, just blocks in yourself now. Like, there's a chance to upgrade without a doubt with that Uranus retrograde, but with Jupiter retrograde and Gemini, at least the overwhelm can come off a little bit. I hope everyone feels that you can kind of accept the circumstances of your life a little bit more in whatever area of life that's playing out for you. It's going to be really different for everyone. This is definitely a big examination, like throwing it all on the table, our behaviors, our mindset, right? So this is like a really get right with God type of time where, if you don't want to be a beggar, if you don't want to feel like a loser, like in the physical reality of things, it's paying attention to not suppressing what your intuition has been telling you. Okay, there's a deep level of regard and acceptance like for that path, that journey. This is very much about walking that path of the wounded healer. This is very much a shamanic path. This is shadow work, 101 for some people that are new to it. To others that have been walking this journey for a while, like myself, it's shadow work, times 1,000, where Pluto at the end of Capricorn, baby, it's like you got to rock out. Also, just a reminder, warning to people, with all this Libra energy, Sun, Mercury, it's like South Node, Lilith, and then you have Venus in Scorpio. It's like, don't fall for the relationship gimmicks, that somehow the relationship is the beautiful thing in life right now. Like, you'll fuck your life up. Like, that's either losing a grip on yourself of your own psychological reprogramming to like take the MK Ultra blinders off and start to reprogram yourself for the forward march in the next 20 years, and you start letting like peace and harmony and feel good energy. Could even be like laziness, but it looks all lovey-feely in a relationship and going deep and sex and all this stuff. But especially for people for the new relationships, I'm just going to be really honest, 99% of these new relationships that have come out over this past month or two, they're going to fail. Sorry. Not only are they going to fail, but they're going to you're going to be like, holy shit, like, I would have rather have gotten like a hole in the head type thing, like fall flat on the face type stuff. It's just historical astrology. It's just really basic astrology. It's a false, peaceful, harmonious relationship, and you think the beauty's going deep. What it really is the easiest bypass, for people to desert themselves, to like abandon their own values, because you have to really root into the tenacity of like what your true values are and keep that like firm mindset to not stay in the MK Ultra trap of things and actually go and do amazing things right now. And even though it may seem like the return on investment sometimes isn't what you want, but it's like compared to what, like compared to what, like the 80s, the 2000s, like all that shit's over, like this is about reverent passive service now and creation mode that is of service and humble, beginnings for some, humble middle grounds for some, humble higher grounds for some, whatever it is. Like, there's still a spiritual, destiny calling to all of us to, make amends with whatever the situation is and to be better as a soul, just kind of like check the ego, a minute that's all wounded and shit with that North Node Chiron and Aries, and be like, if my ancestors like came back from the dead right now, like look me in the eyes, would I, you know, feel ashamed and embarrassed and kind of like weep because, you know, we have all these modern amenities, we have all these opportunities for great change, you know, and so it's like not getting all weepy, especially with that Mars and Cancer that's going to be going slower, and it's starting to square over to that Sun in Libra. The Sun will square it, but so don't get all cushy in the relationship department. In fact, this is probably for those that have been kind of doing the ostrich thing in their new relationships, you know, or even thinking things are going really well in their current partnership that they've been in. They think that's like the leading priority thing in their life. This is going to be the first like big flag, you know, so it's a good time to exit if you see that first flag and don't go into this like, no, I'm committed. No, I'm committed. It's like, motherfucker, you're committed to the wrong shit. Sorry, you know, free will, sure, do whatever you want, but like, it's just basic ass astrology, you know, that we have to be independent and sovereign, you know, on our path, and that, you know, relating is hard since 2020, you know, and the vision where people think that their, you know, life can go, whether it's relationships, you know, career, all this stuff was based on a lot of like false, you know, ego pretenses. And so if it's still not working and you're struggling and it's still not working, that relationship's not working, or your relationship life's not working, your career, all like, this is the time to like not abandon like what you're doing, but like start to make the fundamental spiritual, deep psychological changes within yourself to make sure that as the road starts to wind over these next few months and goes in a different direction, you don't feel undereducated, undernourished, undervalued, like basically just like you're under the gun because you didn't like get the Pluto lessons in Capricorn, which is always going, identify the restrictions in your life, but then identify like with them, not from the sense of like you're stuck like a victim, but identify with them as in like, okay, if it's not moving out here, that means I gotta go within myself and use my intuition and feel into the emotions and, you know, get really rooted into the body and just like do some really almost like basic meditation 101 stuff to get clarity. And because this is not a time for escapism and even a time for doing too much. I mean, I think we're probably in the middle ground where it's like, it's not a total slowdown. We still got to do our stuff and our responsibilities, but I would say timing is everything on the responsibilities. You know, this is a good time for following strategy, authority, and human design. It's always a good time for that, but it's like to get into the flow of your life. That way you're also not the one creating the blocks because you're not paying attention to what your intuition that's defined through your human design is actually telling you. So anyways, if you want to get a human design reading and astrology reading, you can click on those links down below. You know, wishing everyone the best out there. I mean, it's on a empathetic note, it's like, this is not easy astrology. Like, I know I like got on like the horn here and like how to like get through this, but it's like, this is not easy astrology. It's not easy astrology these next few weeks. I don't think anyone's probably feeling their best. You know what I mean? So it's almost like don't identify with the symptoms and more so just stay curious as a way to not get overwhelmed by what your experience is with that Jupiter retrograde, and kind of try to remember that bigger picture. Like Pluto and Capricorn is like the biggest thing in the background because it's the outermost planet shifting signs. It's a huge deal. And this brings up like legacy impact too. It's like these, every moment, every day counts for like where you're putting your life force energy out into the world. And so it's like, if you're feeling bumps and bruises and no returns on the effort you're putting out into the world, that's how you know you're probably in the wrong place. And then on the flip side, it's like if it feels like there's a block, but then all of a sudden things open up when they're meant to, when you need them to go to that next, you know, space up the mountain, that next, you know, turn going around the top of the mountain, that's how you know you're getting on the right track. So it's not a time for abandoning things, but it is a time for great discernment and paying attention to where our attention's going, especially, you know, for some people, they're already lost in it. They're not coming out until after November 5th, but you know what I'm talking about. Some people are already in the spell, but it's like, if you're not, cool, live your life and go do those great things and face those blocks within yourself that keep you from doing those.